Alright, old weed killer here today. We took the SB down so I could, I ran it for about a week and noticed I had a little... What in the world was that? Anyway, how about a TA's lamp? Anyway, I put the old Phantom up there. I'm going to use it for a driver. Wow, let me turn that up. Turn that down on me. Yeah, I'm going to use that. I put the SB over here. I'm doing a little work here. I'm working on a antenna tuner for my ham. Actually making this one, just tinkering around. Since I don't transmit, I can do a lot of tinkering with it, just being in, you know, doing the receive, just to bring it on frequency. Because I don't want to run it through my tuner here, because that inductor wheel is like churning butter. When you go to ham radio bands and you run it for your Kenwood over here, by the time you tune it in, you've churned a couple pounds of butter. And then you have to wind her all the way back for CB again. So, to eliminate that problem, what we've done here, my squeaky toy when I'm thinking I'm mud ducking. Got a little circuit board in there to tap on, because this, I'm going to put me a meter here. This is actually out of an old SWR, Radio Shack SWR meter. Does relative power, SWR, and reflect. And I'm just making some taps and some coils and some air variables in there. Make an old T circuit. Might even make the whole pi circuit. I was going to use a T and branch it off for multi-function, put a switch, whatever. What it boils down to, God, I tore my bench all the way up trying to get all this shit maneuvered around. Anyway, I'm going to tear this back apart. It has an intermittent. When I load it, is it the load or the tune? It's a tune. When I have it loaded good, I mean, I was getting like 1800 watts out of it on low. I can't bitch, but I'm funny. If anything sparks, malfunctions, acts stupid, it's go back to the manual, check all the connections, reattach, reassemble, test again. I'm not into burning something up that I worked so hard to get going again. This was a dropped amp, a trash pile amp, and we brought her back to life, and she's cooking good. Runs about 3,300 volts on the high tap and about 27 on the low. Tunes good, beautiful input match, zero reflect. Really a nice amp. It's got a whole lot of extra goodies in it. I've redone the cap set. Well, you can look at my other SB220 videos to kind of bring you up to speed on what I've done to this thing. But more videos will come. I just wanted to bring you up to date on, bring my friends that watch this up to date on what I'm doing and kind of checking things out. I even got the, let's see here. Get my squeaky toy set over there. I'm even going to measure tolerances on everything. Everything's got to have a spec. And do respect the people that went to all the trouble to make the specifications. So, at that point, how do you like this? I brought this back from the grave. I made another video of it. I'm doing some testing. I'm isolating for background noise due to fans, because this baby... with 10 tubes in there and that one little tiny fan over here going, I mean, it was made to do that, but I'm Mr. Fan Guy. I mean, just temporarily. Look, bam. Oh, I got a piece of tape in the way. I hear it right here. Somewhere there's a piece of tape tapping. But anyhow, make a long story short, this is a just a quick little video, bring you back up to pace. I haven't even checked the reflex since I turned this thing on, so let me check reflex. Turn that back off. I don't need those. Wind up. I still have no reflect running through that amp. That's awesome. I've got everything pretty much critiqued and tweaked and tuned so I can throw it back in line and I don't have to monkey around with it much. The only reason I took the Phantom out of line initially was because I had a relay hanging. I fixed that relay. I'm waiting on another one to come. Oops. Because I'm having trouble with the high voltage staying on. I mean, it works fine, but the tubes are always gassed hot and ready to rock, you know, and I popped the fuse. Well, me being that cautious guy again, as soon as that happened, off the shelf, break out the other one, throw it on the top, and diagnose the problem. I cleaned the relays. I done a little wash on them. I haven't pre-fired this up yet. I'm just doing pass-through, make sure nothing got knocked, wiggled, jumped. And anyway, this is a 5-minute video. That's long enough. But yeah, just kind of bringing you up to speed on what I'm doing here. I love my little Kenwood setup here. Let's see here. I don't have the antenna hooked up. I'm unhooked right now, so that's useless. But anyway, let's see. All right, man. Hope you have a nice weekend. This is Sunday, the 31st of January. Tomorrow it's supposed to be nice. I hope it is. I got some run to do, and that way, if I need a 0.005 at 5 kV disc capacitor, because I'm thinking that's what's the trouble over here. The 0.005 5K that does my high voltage, since the Zener's been taken, well, it's supposed to be there anyway, but the Zener has been bypassed. It's got the diode. And I'm also going to look and see if I have any new doorknobs. You have one here and one here. And I'm going to reattach my strap that goes from the tank coil for the load over to the band switch to feed the power. It looked a little oxidized to me. Could be just, you know, whatever. But anyway, I saw a spark in here. I talked on it for 2 or 3 days after that. All I had to do was just move the tune just ever so gently, and it disappeared. I just had it running too hot. I've been peaking it. I've heard that the 500Z is like a little back pressure on them. Same with my sweep tube amp. I detune it a little bit so it has pressure on the tubes. In fact, it likes a little bit of reflect, like a couple hundred milliwatts. It seems to really chug better. I don't know why. I guess it's too fast of a flow for it, or you know. And I'm using old sweep tube junk tubes off of eBay, mismatched. You know, different brands. It don't matter. It's an amp. I throw them in as long as they got the same pin connections. We're gonna try them. You know, by golly. But I love bringing old stuff back to life. This one here has always been one of my dream amps that I thought, I'll never own one. And it just happened to fall into my lap. Thank God, and thanks to a good CB friend that has availability to do that. He was compensated for the damage, but didn't want to do the work on it. For whatever reason he may have. I'm not complaining, because that was the only way I was going to get one of these. Now, if I could find some original paint, just to kind of do these edges. The face looks really good. You can tell where they've had a lot of wear. I can't use my light because my battery's so low right now. But anyway, you can tell where they probably went like this with their thumb. And they've kind of wiped off some numbers. Now, I know you can buy a new faceplate for it and all that. That stuff don't matter to me. But I want to make it pretty. I'm proud of it, and I'd like to take just a little bit of, you know, like fingernail polish and put it on a little bitty brush or something. I might do that and make like a shiny, use what women call it, glitter or whatever paint, fingernail paint. Real carefully, the same kind of, I know, I don't want something that's going to be gaudy. But just to have like a little bit of sparkle to it, and just do the front little edge right here. And that way it'll have kind of a glistening kind of effect. I guess it does if you're knocking a paint off. It does that anyway, but I don't know. I'm kind of goofy, you know. But that's what happens when you get old. Well, you can call it senior moment, retardism, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just down with goofy stuff, I guess. I was like this mic. You know, I got a Speedway cup on here for a deflector. It's it doesn't. I had to put this on because it was the foam because it was oscillating, making me sound like I was in a cavern, which everybody liked, but I wasn't down with it. I don't want to talk into a cup. You know, I might have to pee into a cup, but I don't want to talk into a cup. But it was pretty whacked. If you haven't seen what I've done to this thing, you can check out my other video. I did have to run another ground. I was getting a ground loop feedback situation at running high wattage. I don't know if I was creating an RF effect in here, like I had to make my ground a little better. I've got it running up and grounding to the side of the radio, which is grounded to the system, and la da 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 da. But anyway, it works. It's kind of a passive ground. It's not a direct chassis ground. It's just a passive ground to give the RF somewhere to go, or the stabilization of the circuit needed that, or whatever it needed to be. Whatever it needs, I pamper it. But anyway, this is up to speed kind of a video. Nothing really drastic happening over here. Everybody's good. Mom's in good health today. She had a huge brunch today. She's in there sleeping like a bear still. She's got to get up and eat here in a little bit. So, all right. Peace, Radio World. Thanks for stopping in and checking out my menagerie of illness, I guess you could say. I would call myself a hoarder, but there's too much trash for it to be a hoarder. Anyway, weed killer up here in the Buckeye State. You have a good rest of the weekend. Peace.